Well, welcome to the Top Gun Show, where I try to bring you new providers, new technologies, and introduce you to the best professionals in the industry, all so you can make informed decisions. Today, I'd like to welcome back Stephen Karachinsky, the CEO of Ziro, the sponsor of the Top Gun Show. Ziro is a very unique company that makes unified communications hassle-free. Stephen started Ziro about 14 years ago after spending 5 years at Cisco in the channel. Stephen, welcome back to the Top Gun Show.
Great to see you, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Been a fun month, man. Been a fun month. We've covered why you formed Zero, the customer pain points you address, the business outcomes you deliver, and we even heard last week from Eric Dunlop, one of your customers. Let's wrap up these interviews with a few positioning statements. I read on your LinkedIn profile that Zero helps customers cross the chasm into IT. I'm not sure if you're referencing Crossing the Chasm by Jeffrey Moore, published in 1991, which happened to be the first telecom book I ever read. Anyway, please elaborate on how you help IT professionals cross the chasm.
Absolutely. So that is the right reference. I studied that as well in school and believe it to be true. And I think it's really all because of this disruption and inflection point that we're at within the industry. We've spoken about Jay a couple of times on this show. He's got a famous slide where he talks about how IT has surpassed telecom in revenue for the first time ever last year, and now that's just going to increase. And so what that means is that IT has really become responsible in charge for all of these purchases, including telephony. And where the crossing the chasm goes is to help the channel partner community, especially a lot of the VARs, MSPs, or advisors that are still very telco focused, move into this IT world so they can be a part of all of these wonderful things that are going on, as well as a big piece of it is the generative AI copilot type of a conversation. If we're stuck in telecom, we're not getting a piece of everything that's going out there. And it is an IT buyer world who is focused on employee experience and customer experience. And that is where all of the opportunity is going to be in the future. That's where the strategic opportunities are and the opportunity to differentiate and add value. So, what part of the value that we bring to the channel is crossing that chasm, getting into IT and unlocking all of that potential.
Well said. I love that answer. What again? Recap this. You've talked about this in prior weeks, but recap some of the common business outcomes that your customers are looking for?
Yeah, I think within this context of an IT buyer, I think we got to frame and remember that this is all about best experience, best employee experience, not best of breed anymore. So aside from an outcome of, seamless transition, making that telephony move or contact center move a non-event, saving money, those are kind of should be table stakes, even though they're not in the industry. But those are clear things that we deliver. But as we think about this crossing the chasm, moving into IT, there's other aspects that are really important, like reducing the amount of variables that an IT team has to support and manage, creating consistency and standardization within the environment, segmenting and personalizing these solutions for the different types of users within the organization, and then allowing them to continuously improve on how they're using the technology and getting the value out of it and being able to measure that. Those are some of the key outcomes that we play and we deliver with for our customers.
Yeah, well said, man. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Well, this last question, you're such a good speaker and so confident and knowledgeable. I was thinking this could really be a series of webinars, but try to keep it short. How do you see generative AI coming into play in the world of IT?
So I think it's massive, and to your point, we could spend 20 hours talking about this. I'll give you a couple of things that I think are significant. I think one, in the space where we play, which is the voice space, I think it's going to be huge. There's no richer, more valuable, important data than your voice data within your organization, because when you have an important conversation or something that has to get discussed and communicated, it's done via voice in a conversation. It's not done over text and chat. That's where the meat is. So to be able to mine this data and pull out, all of the important things that are happening there to make proper decisions and understand what's going on, either within your company or with what a customer is saying, I think is going to be huge. To that point, I think this generative AI technology is going to transform the way we think about contact centers. And I think a lot of the CCaaS players are quickly going to have to reinvent themselves, because if I can communicate with a bot and have a real conversation, not the stuff that we have today where it's all, pre-canned, you asked one question, you never get the right answer, or, I'm working with my bank, I got to input my credit card number 20 times and I still get asked when I speak to an agent. I'm talking about this stuff working. We're not going to need all of this back end tools that we make to manage a customer anymore. I'm going to be able to interface one on one. And so I think today, a lot of the systems that we put in place, I've heard, a friend of mine within the industry call this like the human middleware that we've built. Once we could remove that and all the systems that are designed in that middleware space, you're going to be able to directly get the information you want, when you want it, how you want it. I think it's going to be huge. Today's systems are designed to figure out how to give you access to information. That's not going to be necessary tomorrow. So again, massive opportunity, and the folks that are going to take advantage of it and be involved, they're going to reap all the rewards. And what we're trying to do is we're starting to play and use this technology internally to bring out products and services to help our customers on their customer service end to start with. So you're going to see some pretty cool stuff from us coming out later this year.
Exciting stuff. I think we should do webinars or a panel or whatever. I mean, there's so much there. It's really an exciting time to be in IT and telecom for sure. Okay, let's close this interview and close the month with one more question. Who is the one person, dead or alive, that you'd like to meet, and what would you ask him or her?
So, Steve, I've got a lot of people that I admire and think about, just in the spirit of what's gone on over the last couple of months in the football world. A name that pops into my head is a Nick Saban. I admire what he's done throughout his career in football as a coach and a leader. And I guess the question that I would like to ask him is, how has he been able to instill that type of culture with that rigor and that zest for excellence all the time throughout all the teams that he's worked with? He's constantly working with new players, young people, new coaches. The organization almost changes completely year after year, and yet the culture that he has, the standards that he has are consistent throughout. So I would love to talk to him about how he gets that involved, because if I can do, a smidgen of that with my team and organization, wow, it would be really exciting. So that's one that comes to mind.
Stephen, I love that answer. He's one of my top 5 as well. I would say Nick Saban. And Nick, I know you're watching this. You're not a mugger yet. And you're not doing anything. You're going to go fishing now and relax. So contact me on LinkedIn. I want to interview you. Stephen will be on the show with me when we interview you. I love that answer, dude. Thank you. Thanks for carving out time out of your schedule, my friend. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, Steve. Thanks for having me. Have a wonderful day. And again, cheers to all the muggers out there. I'm proud to be part of the club.
Cheers. Thanks for watching, everybody.